Welcome to the pilot episode of something that is bound to cause me frustration farther down the line. Jump into that cockpit, strap in. This is the first of my Neo Geo shooter series, Alpha to Z. Most of you know I've grown to love the Neo Geo over the past few years. For me, it's a console that I and many other kids could never afford, but now in adulthood, well, some of the games I still can't afford. But I've been fortunate enough to pick up as many of the games that I can, and I've added the 4-slot machine behind me to my collection, as well as ArcadeWorks' consoleized MV1C board, the Omega. If you don't know, the Omega is an original Neo Geo arcade motherboard that's modified to play on your television like a home console. Two of the larger benefits of this are that it takes original arcade MVS cartridges, which are generally much cheaper than their AES counterparts, and also that the Omega outputs a gorgeous component or RGB video. Now, the Neo Geo is largely known for its fighting games, playing host to some iconic series such as Fatal Fury, King of Fighters, and Samurai Showdown. While I like some of these games, my real interest in the system has been the non-fighting titles that are often overlooked. Starting with this video, I'm going to play through each of the Neo's spacecraft shooters, and that's a key qualifier to keep in mind, spacecraft. There are certainly other games on the system, including even Spin Master, which I've recently posted a video of that could be considered shooters. For this Alpha to Z series, we're looking at spacecraft shooters. With all of that out of the way, let's get started on the game that is literally the alpha in the series, Alpha Mission 2. Alright, here we go. Two different types of controls. I'm just going to go with A. So I know in playing this game that you're collecting the power-ups, and I want to say that you collect 4 of each kind, and then that's the most you can power up for each of the levels. A variety of different things you can do with the ship. It's telling me in the top left there to push the C button, and that opens up laser. I can confirm that. Now you see I got that bar on the left-hand side. Doing a charge shot with my chute will drain that. So there's my meter went down. That would have been a good opportunity there to use my special. The game reminds me a little bit of Blazing Lasers. I don't know if that's because I just recently played that, or if it's just the fact that it's a vertical shooter. Oh, I better start and pay attention here. See, now it's not so much a charge shot. It was the meter's just draining as I fire, and those E-tanks fill up the meter. Looks like this could be our first boss. Well, that certainly could have been better. Oh, so here at the end of the stage we get to power up our ship, apparently. Already you can kind of tell that the second level things are moving a little bit faster. Now it's interesting that this is Alpha Mission 2 for Neo Geo. Alpha Mission, the original, is actually out on the NES, and I do have that in my collection, but I've never actually finished that game. I think I've played it a handful of times, but I've never done much with it outside of the first level or two. Likewise, for this game, I don't know that I've ever finished this either. Hopefully that happens today, but I've only ever played the first level or two of this. Not much in the way of power-ups so far. Speaking of which, as far as power-ups go, S is your speed. If you shoot that, it turns to an L, which powers up your lasers. Shooting it again turns it to an M for powering up missiles, and then shooting it yet another time turns it to G, which is money for your bank to power up your armor at the end of a level. Really could use a power-up. So instead of a series of ships coming at you to comprise the level, it's just one massive ship that you need to apparently take out. So that's different. I kind of like that. Wow. Even the slow-moving bullets actually, in some ways, kind of make things worse to try to navigate around. Not sure where I feel the safest right now. Not there. Or there. Now we're inside the ship. Thankfully collecting some power-ups, finally. Ah, you're kidding me. And just like that, there goes all my power-ups. So easy come, easy go. I think that's what's becoming frustrating about this game, is that I really haven't had a chance to explore all the weapon and armor upgrades because I'm not very good and I keep dying. I think the biggest difficulty I'm having with this right now is deciphering what is volatile and what isn't. I mean, obviously the ships that swoop in are easy to identify, and I know that that's something I need to try to eliminate or shoot, or is going to cause me damage, but some of the surface mounted things on the graphics, it's well drawn, it's just I don't know if it's something that is an enemy or not. So I'm pretty much having to try and shoot everything to see if it takes damage from me or not, to know whether or not it's something I need to eliminate. Yeah, this is a little bit tougher, and it's hard on my eyes. It's not necessarily. I don't get the feel that the game itself is that hard. It's just the pacing of it, and then again trying to decide what is an enemy versus what isn't. I don't want to sound snobbish, but I don't think the blurry composite video is doing me any favors right now. Feed that is hooked up for the capture. Oh man. The feed that's hooked up for the capture is an S-video feed. Now the Omega does output component, but my game capture device does not like 240 progressive, so we're stuck with S-video. Could have done this on an emulator, but I want to play on real hardware when I can. Get the feel that this was quite the quarter muncher in its day. Never had the joy of playing this in the arcade. I really was only familiar with the first one on Nintendo, and only after I started collecting for Neo Geo found out about Alpha Mission 2. Here we go, stage 3. Oh, that's cool to, you notice the screen shifts. I can kind of go off screen. I'm not isolated to just the center of the screen. It goes off to the left and right, which I've seen that before, but that introduces a new variable to level 3. Ooh. Oof, that speed really helped out in one sense, but it's also kind of throwing me off a little. See? I think what's frustrating so far about this is that everything kind of looks the same. There's these orbs, there's missiles, and then there's the glowing blue dots. Enemy variety really pretty much spherical looking objects that are surface mounted. And you can't just hammer away here on the mini boss because it's actually your missiles that go down that cause damage, and that's every third shot. More spheres. I guess they turn into lawn darts. And this is gonna have to get a lot harder than this, I would assume. There we go. Here we go. Doesn't look like that can be destroyed. And you can't, doesn't look like you can do any damage to the boss. You can't do any damage to the boss while those spheres are out there. This game is just constantly throwing round objects at you as your enemy. So now I get a limited window here to actually inflict damage on the tail. Or, I don't know, maybe that's not the tail. Yeah. Didn't really love that. This is cool. Alright, so now I'm awake. I like the level layout here. And the enemy was not round. Look at this, all kinds of variety. Spoke too soon. The game is so well drawn, but there's not a ton of variety as far as imagination. Oh man, more spherical enemies. I'd be really curious to hear what a lot of you have to say about this one. I know I'm only on the 3rd or 4th level, but this isn't fantastic. Yeah, I'm guessing that this is more of a 2-player design, assuming that I'm taking my ship down the left side and the second player would be taking their ship down the right, or vice versa. But playing it single player, I'm kind of left with half a screen that's I can't do anything about. And that is coming right at you, and I don't really know if it can even be destroyed. Kind of gotta dodge it, I suppose. And that's a tractor beam, which you don't want any part of. So this isn't gonna be good. And all the light colors and everything on here, I don't know. For me, it's incredibly difficult for my eyes to focus on where the bullets are, with them being white and flashing, and then all of the off-white background. It's incredibly difficult. Oh great, tractor beams on top of everything else I'm trying to do here. Yep, I need that. Tractor beams. Shit. Look at that. That's just insane. Yeah, if I could probably beat this a lot easier if I actually had a shot. I really can't imagine pumping that many quarters into this back in the day. And again, the overall setting to start this level off is nice. It's water. We just came from fire. So that's cool, but I don't know, the rest of it, there's more spheres. All these things that are the same color as the backdrop that are tough to see. No, this can't be this easy. What else? I need a flathead screwdriver. Look at that, another big round object to defeat. Or it defeats me. Again, you can kind of almost see where the line split, where we're getting enemies coming down the left and enemies coming down the right. Trying to cover this via single player is a bit problematic. I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to be shooting on this just yet. There we go. And again, it looks like every third hit is going through and making contact. So I don't even know if there's anything you can really do here. You're just kind of dodging and waiting. Much like that other boss that sent the brown spheres out after you, and you had to wait for the center to open back up. So, very repetitive style of boss yet again. There we go, finally get a chance to make every third shot count. There we go. Well, I already like the dark background. Should make seeing enemy fire easier. Orbs. There's some ships, that's nice. I'll take a square. Oh, the game heard my pleas. We've got a series of squares now instead of circles. Way to think outside the box. Having done absolutely no research on this, I'll be curious to see what the public's opinion is of this game, because I'd be surprised if it's favorable. Gonna need another flathead. Again, where's the variety in this? But ultimately that's why we're doing this. Because there are clearly a bunch of titles on Neo Geo that are my go-to. Things like this I don't ever play, and maybe with good reason. But don't force myself to give it a chance. You never know. A spinning, I'm not even gonna say it. Alright, another level down, thankfully. Assuming this is the end. Nice of them to come up with some variety here. There you go. Boy, I'd be disappointed if every shot registered. It's kind of cool putting your hands together and being able to summon a ship of your choosing. Man, it's tough to even line up a shot with what's coming out of there. Whew, man. I'm actually like in a safe zone here, at least for now. No, there goes that. Oh. Oh, amen. There's the partner that I actually needed to play this game. Wow, and thankfully it's over. Well, that was Alpha Mission 2. I don't know that I'm going to be firing that up anytime soon. If the commentary was any indication, I really didn't enjoy that. Be interested in hearing what you guys think of that game if you've played through it. It's a little frustrating and not really easy to look at, very repetitive, and not much variety in the enemies, but I know there's much better games down the line as far as shooters go from the Neo Geo. Stick with me. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. This is a quick addendum to my finished Alpha Mission 2 A to Z episode. I wanted to keep that original ending and everything that I did together because it was, for the most part, my initial impression of the game, playing it from start to finish. Since then, I will admit that I've played the game several more times and have picked up a bit more strategy and a better understanding of the game. For one thing, those purple icons coming down are not good. They're fake power-ups, so you don't want those, and I think early on in the game you'll see me picking those up. Just how the armor overall reacts and allows you to take damage as opposed to just being a weapon. Little things such as the fire rate and when the missiles are deployed and are able to actually interact and cause damage with an enemy. So things like that I've started to pick up. So all that said, this is still an arcade title, and so that leaves me a little bit confused thinking about the number of quarters that somebody may have pumped into this, leaving frustrated as I did after initial play. I've read a few things online, and a lot of people seem to have the same opinion that it takes a little bit of getting used to, which I don't know that that's necessarily something you want from an arcade title that you're trying to make money off of. Now, you could argue that there are fighting games that have deep systems involved that take a lot of hours to invest in to really get to know a character and combos and things like that, but usually at the surface you understand the general mechanics of it and are able to jump in and play. Whereas this, it's somewhat similar, but there's just a frustration factor to it that I didn't expect. And obviously, I think you can see that towards the end of this episode. But subsequent plays have got me more familiar with the game overall. And I wouldn't say I love the game and it's one of my favorites, but I do have a better appreciation for it. And I wanted to comment and put that into this. So thanks for listening to this abbreviated addendum and take on the game. As always, thanks for watching, guys.